Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. Port Coquitlam Mayor Brad West has called for Metro Vancouver's board of directors to slash their pay in half. City of Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is boycotting Metro Vancouver. According to a few city councillors in the Lower Mainland, Metro Vancouver's expenditures on things like compensation, travel expenses, and even wining and dining has gone off the rails. But what is Metro Vancouver? Here to explain is a former investigative journalist and current elected councillor for the District of North Vancouver, Catherine Pope. Catherine, hello. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you very much for that introduction.
Okay, so I know that we have a federal level of government, we have a provincial level of government, and then we have municipal governments for all the different cities and towns in British Columbia. What is Metro Vancouver?
It's a good question, and a lot of people are asking it these days. So Metro Van is basically an umbrella organization for 21 municipalities across the Lower Mainland, similar to the Capital Regional District in Victoria.
Okay.
So it manages a lot of the issues and parks, sewer, solid waste, climate action. These are some of its core services that it manages, because many of those kinds of issues cross municipality border lines.
That makes sense. And how is it funded? Where does the money come from?
Taxpayers, of course.
Of those municipalities?
Yes. Yeah. Every year, taxpayers get a bill, and included in that bill is the Metro utility rate, and Metro Van's other charges. Sometimes it's separated out on the bill, and sometimes it's not. District of North Van is going to separate it out this year, so people have a better idea of how much their taxes are going to fund Metro Van.
Okay. And there are 27 regional districts like Metro Vancouver, like the Capital District, all over the province, basically. So it's not unique to Vancouver.
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
What's been under the eye of media lately is the governance structure of Metro. And it has 41 people politicians who sit on the board of directors.
These are mayors and city councillors across the Lower Mainland.
They're all mayors and city councillors who are automatically on Metro's board of directors from being elected in their own municipalities.
Right. Because they have to work together to do all those things that you just mentioned.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And what's come out recently is that some of them, in particular the chair, the vice chair, for example, Burnaby Mayor Mike Hurley is now making $400,000 a year because he's being paid his mayor's salary and he's being paid his Metro chair's salary.
I picked the wrong line of business. I can see why you went into politics.
Yeah, no, that's not why I went into politics. But sure, you look at a few of them. Delta Mayor George Harvey took home $346,000 last year. And you mentioned Brad West. Well, he received $342,000 last year.
Okay.
So people are going, wait, what? I thought our mayor was paid $150,000, $200,000. Well, when they go and sit on the Metro Board of Directors and a number of other Metro committees, they get paid for going to all those meetings.
So we've also been hearing about them wining and dining quite exquisitely, going on fancy trips on business class. This has obviously been happening for a while, including their compensation that you just mentioned. Why is this all coming out now?
Well, that's a very good question. The reason is, about a year ago, Metro Vancouver quietly put out a press release on a Friday afternoon, and buried in that press release was the mention that, oh, by the way, the North Shore Wastewater Treatment Plant is now going to cost $4 billion.
And the original estimate was like
$700,000.
So more than 4 times the original estimate.
Yes.
And we know that Victoria just built a very similar plant for about
That's
700,
correct.
800 million.
So when I
right?
started looking into it, I saw that Victoria had indeed started building their North Shore wastewater treatment plant back in 2018, about the same time this was supposed to have been started, for $700,000. Victoria now, for 4 or 5 years now, has a new wastewater treatment plant built for $700,000 on budget.
And ours is still not built?
We have nothing.
Just a big bill coming up.
A huge bill. I mean, they've done some construction work on there, and that's part of the reason things have gotten so out of hand. But it's a mess. It's a big financial mess. And so I started asking questions like last March, like, well, where's the transparency? Where's the accountability? And we still don't have those answers.
And taxpayers can't vote out the people that sit on Metro Vancouver. So what can be done? Do we require the province to now step in and look at the structures and where all the money's going? What recourse do people have? I
definitely think the province needs to step in. I led a motion with our council last fall calling for a public inquiry, which the province can do. I've also talked to one of the former auditor generals of Metro Vancouver, who actually used to, monitor a lot of the expenditures and make sure everything added up and all of that. And he feels that a lot of the concerns that people have about what's gone wrong with this budget could be uncovered and exposed by an auditor general. So in my opinion, the province should at least be doing that.
Okay. Now, really quickly, we have about 30 seconds here. When these city councillors and mayors go on these fancy trips overseas, whether it's Amsterdam or who knows where else, do they have to write a report of what they learned and what the value of that trip was?
No, nothing.
Wow.
There's no accountability.
Wow.
And not only that, I know you said we're out of time, but I'd have to also mention there's this whole other aspect to Metro, which is the committees. And the secretive nature of the chair of Metro Van is the person who appoints councillors from the municipalities to Metro committees.
Oh.
And those Metro committees are also paid. And many councillors sit on a number of committees, so they can make between like $20,000 and $40,000 a year extra just sitting on those committees. But the worst of it is it's all done in secret. So if you're like me and you speak up and be very, very critical of Metro Vancouver, you get removed from a committee.
Oh,
and that's what happened. I was removed from a committee over the holidays.
Wow. Well, I appreciate your advocacy and your voice. I know you've been on this for almost a year now. I know the province certainly appreciates it as well. I feel like I've picked the wrong business, but Catherine, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Folks, that was the District of North Vancouver Councillor Catherine Pope. Now, after some business, we survived the great Canada-US trade war for now. But how did BC Premier David Eby do politically? Could he be the new Captain Canada? We'll crunch the vibes with JJ McCullough up next.